You cannot convince me otherwise that the reason the whole airplane arc went for so long was just so Yukinobu Tatsu could parallel this Gigi Evil Eye fight with the Evil Eye arc that's currently going on in the anime. And I think with the references we're even getting from all the way back to the very origins of the Evil Eyes alliance, if you want to call it, with the Ayase family, I think it's, again, I think it's guaranteed at this point. Besides all of that, the fight between Gigi and Enenra is one of the best, if not the best, representations of Gigi's character in the series, because not only do we finally get to view this insane potential that he has supposedly always been said to have from Seiko. Not only do we see that in the fact that he's able to use his evil gun ability to do serious damage, not just to the Kerr during the Space Globalist arc, but now even this Enenra Smoke Yokai, who previously was able to just bash and destroy Seiko in a close quarters combat. However, it seems like, according to Gigi, that if Seiko was actually in peak condition, she would have easily trounced and one-shot the Enenra Smoke Yokai. But getting back on topic, part of the way that we see how Gigi's erratic mind not only helps him, but also his spiritual energy potential affects his growth and development is the way that Evil Eye and Gigi haven't exactly fused here, which is what a lot of people thought. What is actually happening is Evil Eye and Gigi are swapping back and forth so quickly you can't even tell the difference between it. Similar to a light bulb where the light is actually flickering, it's not on a consistent, span, and it's just flickering so much that it seems constantly lit. The human eye can't keep up with it. How Gigi was able to come up with this, I think, flows perfectly into what the Evil Eye and Gigi's relationship started from very well, where Gigi promised that he would help the Evil Eye be a kid again and get to experience being a child and play games, because they actually came up with this idea trying to play a game together. And obviously, because they share a body, they literally were able to invent this flicker back and forth so that way they could quite literally play a game together. And not only do I absolutely love that for, again, just bringing it all the way back to the main reasons why the Evil Eye and Gigi were supposedly connected in the first place, whether you want to say that the Evil Eye was always deceiving Gigi for his high spiritual potential or not, we can see here in this fight that the Evil Eye truly has begun to change, just like Turbo Granny did after spending so much time with the Ayase family, right? Because Turbo Granny was this century spanning, potentially millennia spanning yokai that was so dangerous, yet after spending so much time in the cat form with the Ayase family, when it did finally come time for Okarun to get both of his balls back and fulfill the other end of his bargain of letting Turbo Granny have all of her power back, instead of wreaking revenge like she always vowed to do, she kind of says, "Don't ever come across me again," and she dips out, which was a sad moment. And I still do feel the absence of Turbo Granny, and I miss her character, and I hope she does return to the story in some way, shape, or form. I think it's almost undoubtable that that will happen. Either way, you can see how the Evil Eye has begun to be touched, not just by Gigi actually fulfilling his end of the bargain and playing with him and letting him experience being a child again. And we could kind of already see this with, if Evil Eye ever accidentally transformed, he would go throughout Gigi's school day and try to honor his promise of only fighting Takakura on Tuesdays. You really do start to see how the Ayase family has begun to change this yokai into somewhat of a more peaceful spirit. As he is putting the work on the evil smoke yokai, the Evil Eye is actually the one talking when you think it's Gigi. Also part of the interesting idea of the two of them constantly switching back and forth. You can't really tell who's talking and who's not. They are actually beginning to sound just like one another, because quite literally, the Evil Eye is the one that says, "You know what? That woman that you just beat up and the woman that you were standing on, Seiko," even though the Evil Eye was just laughing at her for getting beat up earlier, he does acknowledge the fact that, hey, she said she was going to make me family. You don't get to stand on her like she's nothing. And that's just a beautiful moment, in my opinion, for this traumatized and severely physically tortured spirit getting not just delayed from his human extermination plan, but beginning to see the value in human life. That is something that is the most impactful part of the chapter for me, because again, you really do think that it's Gigi here talking about his master, the master that trained him and showed him all of the things that he's able to do. However, when Gigi does cut back to full possession here and picks up Seiko, he says, hey, you know, Evil Eye, you went overboard. I wanted to complain to him too for messing with my master. This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring the channel. The one that actually deals the finishing blow and gets revenge for Seiko is the Evil Eye of all people, which I absolutely do love. And another quick thing too that just reinforces how far Gigi has come and how quick and great Gigi's mind actually works when the smoke yokai tries to pull a secret trump card it has by converting itself down to the smallest portion of smoke, getting inhaled by Gigi, and then being able to actually attack Gigi from inside his lungs. But not only that, expand to full size inside of Gigi and just, you know, cause him to explode from the inside out. Remembering back to the airplane moment when he was wondering how he was going to be able to use the evil gun through the plane wall, Seiko reminds him that if you are able to fully control your chi, it doesn't matter if there's a barrier or any kind of obstacle in front of you, you'll be able to shoot the chi through it and fire the attack that you need. And that's exactly what happens. Gigi is actually able to fire his spirit gun inside of his own torso and force the smoke yokai out of his body, just completely skipping past himself and putting all of that force right into the yokai. And yeah, this was the best fight that Gigi and the Evil Eye has ever truly gotten, and it just makes me excited to see where the rest of this saga is going to go, because I don't know about any of you guys, but I personally feel like DanDaDan has slowly become much more of a battle shonen centered story, right? We've always had the romance, we've always had the comedy and the zany, crazy antics, but recently, as of late, some of these moments have felt very battle shonen-y, especially with the way that Gigi's powers have been explained, the way that we're going into in-depth, complicated definitions and terms to make sure all of these power systems and the techniques that we're using make sense. I'm all for it 110%, and I think Yuki Nobutatsu has finally decided to trust the series enough to go full span into the battles, and I'm all here for it, especially if this is going to be the kind of content that we're getting. Because remember, if Gigi has leveled up this much, I am still excited to see what's going to be the other half of this fight, right? Which is still Momo and Vamola versus the chameleon guy that we have seen next to nothing of. I mean, sure, that fight could just be completely, cut. Gigi and the Evil Eye could jump down, save the chameleon, but something tells me that if Gigi leveled up, Vamola is a character that has gotten almost next to no development since the Space Globalist arc. And we have seen Kintaka grow, we have gotten great development into Koki Yukishiro, even Rin Sawaki. So I think if anybody in the protagonist group is lacking, it's her. And it would be an utter disservice to her character, in my opinion, to not have her own full fleshed out fight in this arc when she actually has a chance to. You guys already know, whatever happens in that next chapter, I will be here covering it with you guys. So if you enjoy going on this journey with me, hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss any future DanDaDan videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.